Rosalina, it's risky. That's all I'm saying. It ain't that great wealth creator everyone's saying it is. Hmm. But what I would say, about crypto, okay, I would advise, this is something you can just discard it, but just my thoughts. I'm just sharing, as they say, it's just afkar. بنات أفكار زفت إليكم فإمساك بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان. That's what it's just these are just thoughts. I would advise that even if you don't get into crypto properly and you don't trade and you don't do that, I would advise learning about it and just mucking about a bit on it. It's not difficult. And look, there's no. I know people think they will tell you that look, there's all these epic plans and there's all this, the market has these rules and it's like an organism and it works in the and it does have. I'm not disagreeing that it doesn't work in cycles and stuff. And there's all these different ways to look at moving averages, or you're going to look at this particular formula, or you got the Fibonacci. You've got so many things, but I would say even if it's just you can ignore all of that if you want. Just a simple, intuitive kind of feel. Just muck around a little, even if it's a tiny amount that you put in. Even if you just put in a couple of £100 and you are just playing around. You know why? Because I think just to familiarize yourself with this world of crypto, and you might make a couple, you might put in a couple of £100, maybe you make 20, £30, maybe you lose some, maybe you make, but it's something that you're prepared to lose. You put it in, but it's worth the experience because the future, whether we like it or not, is crypto. It is going to overtake and it is going to forcefully um, just make its place in the world, forcibly. And it's fascinating because remember, I once did I did this talk on what was it on sex slaves and concubines and things like this, and in it I speak about the social consciousness, and I speak about the way you have certain images and how certain things come to your mind. If you haven't watched that talk, do check it out. But I gave the example that sometimes certain things that once you become conscious of them, then it becomes obvious. And I use the two image um pictures to give an example that where you can see where there's a double image, whether it's a man or a dog, or whether it's a vase or two faces. But the vase and the two faces is very obvious. But there's some I use them in there. I won't ruin it if you haven't watched it. But there's some that if you can't see it, like at first, you only see one. But the moment the other one is brought to your attention, you can no longer unsee it. And that I use that allegory for social consciousness, the kind of zeitgeist that is there, this feel which I feel is the collective consciousness. Once that changes, as it changed towards slavery, then these things changed. And so do watch that lecture. But in there I give an example. I say that, let's say in the future, the world is run in a decentralized way. Like, let's say in the future, somehow they don't have governments. And they will look back at us and say, like, how did those people used to just accept that somebody could dictate the laws for them? How did they accept that? And you see, we don't even question it. It's not even, it's just a given. And I use the example of something like income tax or different things to say, well, look, there's certain things that are just a given for us. Like the government one is a good example that but of course we are just citizens and there's a government and government makes laws and it does things and but why? Well, like obviously because you're going to think, well, obviously that's how people rule, that's how people live. But in the future, if they move away from, imagine there's a decentralized, the world is just run by one kind of government somehow. It's not run like, and you think this is crazy. How could that be? You think that, Mufti, are you are you smoking something? But you see, crypto, it is showing us something, isn't it? Money is becoming decentralized, and you would never have thought it. Because who would give up the power over money? Because money is unbelievably powerful. I would argue it is the most powerful of the human psychosocial entities. And it's amazing. I have that Yuval Harari's book. I do recommend you get it. It's called Money. And the saying he has on the back that we want money because everybody else wants money. And because everybody else wants money, we can buy with it whatever we want. It's just a psychosocial interdependency. Now, you see, what we are witnessing is money being made literally out of nothing in the very making. History is being made, but we are witnessing it in real time. And this is what I find so wow about this. And I think sometimes I'm just too excited. I think people can't see what I'm, or they don't. I don't know. Like they think like I've heard some people. I read some comments. People saying Mufti is just, what is he on about? But you have to appreciate the wow factor. That look, check this out. Money has an arbitrary value. It has the value, but because it's already in circulation, we don't question it. Like, why is the pound worth 1 point something dollar? Why? You say, well, because of this, it is. But really, these theories are just, I mean, they're just answers that people are giving that are not really necessarily the case. It just is. And things fluctuate. And naturally, obviously, the GDP and the market that a country has, this is what we assume. Like we assume, well, that's because Britain, it has a certain powerful position in the world, and it does this and it does that. But that's not always the case. Sometimes certain countries, like in the Middle East, their currency will be more powerful than the pound, but they won't have that kind of influence. And we'll say, well, well, that's because they've got this resource. And we keep kind of coming up with theories, but it is just what it is, and we can't question it because we weren't there when it began. See, it's been going on for way before us, but crypto has emerged in front of us. And even though, really speaking, a lot of crypto doesn't have yet, I mean, it's going to have, but it doesn't yet have uh, ecological, like much real world applicability. Like it has some, unquestionably, like your money obviously goes dark, like you can send money across the world to people. But and some places, you can buy things from people. It's starting now, like since 2021, there's been much more of a advance towards it, but there's still less applicability in real world value for it. But what gives this particular currency its value? Now they're going to say, well, there's a fundamental to this coin. It's invested in this technology, in this blockchain. It's invested in this particular. But really, most people don't know that. Most people don't even. Let's just be real. Who knows about the fundamentals behind these coins? What the hell? What the hell is behind Dogecoin or Dogecoin or whatever? However, the Dog E coin. Or I just call it Doge then. What the hell is behind that? It's a joke. That it was made as a joke. The coin was. There's no fundamentals behind it. I know. I feel Elon Musk is trying to buy it out and make it his coin, but why does it have value? The value is just arbitrary. It's other people want it. Why do they want it? You just create a vision, and you see, to me, I treat these things that I feel they are like virtual organisms that once they come to life, they take on a life of their own. You then no longer entirely control it. And the market is like an organism. And these coins are like that. There's a myth associated with them. But in real time, they are becoming so, what? Bitcoin is what? I mean, I know it dipped a bit today, but it's on what, $54,000 for one Bitcoin? What makes it that valuable? It's entirely decentralized. Nobody owns Bitcoin. I mean, people own it, but no company owns it. No government manages it. Nobody can, you know, dictate Bitcoin in that sense. Like they don't, nobody has control over it. It's just there. And this is all before our very eyes. Currency has slipped away from the hands of governments and kings, monarchs, and it's become this decentralized. Like, just look at that, people. Like how the Quran says that it does not remain trapped. "لَا تَكُونَ دُولَةً بَيْنَ الْأَغْنِيَاءِ مِنْكُمْ." Now, I know here it says the rich, but it was, in my understanding, representing those who controlled money or the gold. And here, this peer to peer and just coming out there. And obviously, the rich will still control more of it than others, but it's a phenomenon unfolding. So, this is why I marvel at it. And I do love the concept. I think it is, and you see, it may represent in the future governments becoming decentralized. You see, you may say today, Mufti, you're chatting it. But mark my words, you see, this, as money becomes decentralized, maybe power will somehow become in a slightly decentralized way. Maybe, or maybe I need to ease up on some of the the supplements. I need to ease up. Uh Somebody said, Mufti, it's 2021. People still doubt crypto. I wouldn't doubt it, honestly. I think, if you doubt it, it's your loss. I would say just familiarize yourself with it, even if you're not going to invest huge money into it. Just become familiar. Don't be alien to it's like if you don't know how to use the internet today, it's not, your life will still carry on, but everybody who does know how to use it will be at a great advantage. Says who? Wealth is but a psychosocial entity, my friend. It has no real existence. Submaya, submaya. It is all but an illusion. اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا لعب ولهو. Allah. Allah already told us in the Quran. He put it, the answers were hidden in plain sight, people. It is all but a game. That al-hayat dunya la'ib wallahu, an entertainment. So why not enjoy? After all, Allah is telling us it is just a game and entertainment. So, right, what is going on,